I wasn't sure we were going to do this every single week, y'all, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure how much this exercise was going to be worth us doing together here for the duration of where we are right now in the college football season. So we'll keep doing it as long as it's relevant, as long as y'all want it. The eye test top 5, man. We're not going off of the numbers so specifically. We're not going so much off of what the narratives are. We are going off of what our eyes tell us, the top 5 teams in college football, and how they look. Now, full transparency, my rankings that I do every Sunday after the college football weekend wraps up are going to be different week in and week out than the eye test rankings. But remember, we're getting into college football playoff ranking reveal show season. That's going to happen this Tuesday. And they're going to talk about resume, going to talk about eye test. So the whole hope in doing this is to provide a framework for how we're assessing the eye test part of things when those college football playoff rankings are released. At number 5, and this week's eye test top 5, could easily be Oregon here. So it was a matter of splitting hairs, but I'm going to go Ole Miss. Okay, now Ole Miss, if you're scoring 30+ at Georgia with a Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann defense, and you're scoring 30+ against Brent Venables at his place, I'm going to go ahead and just responsibly, and maybe if it's your own a differing opinion, irresponsibly believe that Lane Kiffin and Trinidad Chambliss, you go ahead and lock the gates, put them on a field for 4 quarters, they're going to score points. Going to score points. Now, the Washington State game maybe leaves a little bit to be desired. I understand that. But I've seen Ole Miss do whatever they want offensively against too many good football teams and good defensive coordinators to look at that outfit and say, yeah, they're probably going to do that here the rest of the way. So Ole Miss, they will be a college football playoff team. And based on what my eyes tell me right now, a top 5 team relative to the eye test after 9 weeks of the college football season. Lane Kiffin, you can argue, the best game planner in college football as of today. I don't think that's a hot take by any stretch of the imagination. Now, number 4. A team that you could also talk about being one of the best offensive units in college football, Alabama. You're saying, wait, JD, talking about the eye test, they didn't look all that great against South Carolina. And South Carolina's got their own problems. Listen, 1, it's Cocktober. 2, it was at Williams-Brice. 3, back against the wall after they just had a tough loss the week before to Oklahoma. Lenora Sellers is still an action figure, both in the metaphorical and literal sense that you can still buy the Lenora Sellers action figure somewhere across the internet. I'm impressed that Alabama found a way to get it done without their fastball. So maybe it didn't have the margin of victory that you were desiring from Alabama in that spot. No, they didn't cover the spread, but they didn't have their best game. They were on the road. All those external variables I just spoke to you in terms of South Carolina bringing their best to the table against Alabama, and Alabama still, in crunch time, found a way to lean on their best players and win a football game on the road. You don't apologize for winning the SEC on the road. You don't apologize if you're Alabama for winning every game since week 1 against Florida State. And that game week 1 against Florida State, I don't even think this Alabama team was present for that game. It was a totally different Alabama team, a bunch of clones. Neither here nor there. Alabama, number 4 in this week's eye test rankings for me. Now, this top 3, I'll just be real with y'all. You could have any one of these 3 teams I'm about to mention as your number 1 team based on your own eye test. And that's why we're doing this whole thing. The eye test is going to differ from team to team. I got Indiana at number 3. Indiana is number 1 in America when it comes to margin of victory. 29 points. They just ended UCLA's entire football program with their win over in Bloomington last week. I'm being facetious. UCLA fans, I love y'all. It's a joke, all right? Calm down. Right now, Indiana is, I think, arguably the most well-rounded team in college football. You could sell me on A&M as well, but what they have at quarterback in a first-rounder there, Biletnikoff, caliber wide receiver in Sage Surratt, as well as Amari Cooper out there making plays for him on the perimeter. That defensive front 7 is not just like good relative to the middle tier of the Big Ten. It's like good relative to the top tier in college football. There's nothing tricky about Indiana, and I keep saying this, but I have to drive this home. People aren't that familiar with the Indiana logo being at the top of college football. You better get used to it. You better get used to it because there's nothing smoke and mirror-ish or sleight of hand-ish. They just show up, beat your brains in on the line of scrimmage, throw the ball over your head. Their coach frowns the entire time. It's awesome. Indiana, if you have them at number 1, again, you hear it in my voice. I'm not fighting you on it. I'm splitting hairs, but Indiana, number 3 for me in the eye test rankings after this week in college football. Now, at number 2, am I being a little bit prisoner of the moment? Maybe. Like I made the joke about Indiana ending UCLA's football program. That's not actually what happened. A&M, though, they actually did get a coach fired. LSU had A&M roll into their place, beat the doors off of them, especially in that second half. So much so that the powers that be at LSU sat back, watched all that happen, watched what A&M did to them, and said, $53 million is not that much, is it? We're good for $50+ million to get our head coach fired and kind of switch this whole thing around, because what A&M just did to us at our place at night, we can't have that happen ever again. Think about that, emptying out Tiger Stadium if you're A&M. That, to me, was enough to put them at number 2 in the eye test rankings. And again, if you have them at number 1, I'm not fighting that hard against it. The way that A&M is explosive offensively, paired with the persona of what this football team is right now, we'll talk more about A&M a little bit later in our bye-week breakdown, bye-week check-in. If I were drafting offenses and I were drafting overall leadership of a football team, it'd be very difficult for me not to go A&M in the first round of that whole draft. Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, Ruben Owens, Marcel Reed, we're just naming names here. You're like, JD, we get it. They got a lot of good players. No. I don't think we're all aligned here as to how dynamic they are this year relative to the rest of college football and also relative to what they were last year. Why are they so much better this year? Well, one, the good folks out there in College Station, led by Mike Elko, went to the portal and got a Mario Craver, got a Casey Concepcion. That's one part of it. The other part of it is they are the best team in college football, in my mind, at being able to reset, because they were down by 4 at half against LSU on the road. Punt gets blocked. Marshall Reed, a couple of picks. Shrug it off, no problem. Go win that game by a comfortable margin and go drop 40 on Brian Kelly's head, and it was what it was. So Mike Elko and co., they are number 2 based on what they did last week, what they've done to this point in the season. Given my eye test, top 5 for these rankings this week. Now, at number 1, it's Ohio State. I don't feel good dropping a team after not playing a game. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't sit well with me. Ohio State's been too impressive this year to not have number 1 right now in these eye test rankings. And here's my thing with Ohio State. They may not have the same margin of victory as in Indiana. Indiana's number 1. Ohio State's still top 5, so we're not down on Ohio State with margin of victory. But it's how it looks whenever you watch Ohio State play football. Taking a step further, it's how you feel when the other team has the football against Ohio State. I don't care where they are on the field. I don't care if they're inside the 20. I don't care if they're at the 50. I do not care where the opposition is at against Ohio State. I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to score. And I'm not saying they're going to score a touchdown. I'm saying I don't have a lot of confidence they're even going to get 3 on this Ohio State football team. We've seen Illinois have to run trick plays on the 1-yard line to get in the end zone against Ohio State. Their second try down there inside the 1-yard line. Ohio State is a wagon on the defensive side. That's not a question. The offensive side, though, and the firepower they're starting to access, that Death Star becoming more and more operational. Julian Sayin went for 3 bills against Wisconsin the other week. That's going to be I don't want to say it's a consistent occurrence, but a more familiar occurrence here for college football fans, especially Ohio State fans here the rest of the way. So they didn't play a game this last week. I don't care. My eyes tell me they're one of the best, if not the best team in college football. The playoff rankings will have this all over the place. A lot of it will be resume, but based on the eye test, this is what I think the top 5 should look like relative to just how you look at these teams on Saturday afternoons and not factoring in too heavily the resume, not factoring in too heavily all these different analytics. That, to me, is the top 5 in college football based on just strictly what your eyes are saying. So at 5, very, very nearly went Oregon. I'll go Ole Miss at 5, Alabama at 4, Indiana at 3, A&M at 2, and the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 1 in my eye test top 5 this week.